maybe you took a look at the math version of cat. You don't have to look at both of these, but if you're curious, there's a different way to solve that problem. So we have our kitty. The math way is saying that whenever the mouse gets close, because the numbers are close, wake up the cat, move it away. But the Python component way that we'll look at now, let's imagine this. Let me take a quick screenshot here, and I'm going to go over Paint, and I'll paste my screenshot here. But let's imagine if I put like a little buffer zone around our kitty and said, okay, well, if the mouse enters this buffer zone, I know it's wider than it is tall right there. It doesn't matter, just the principle of it. If it enters this buffer zone, then run the kitty away. And we can actually put another buffer zone outside of it. That, oops, sorry, I made the other one orange already, but here, let me make this red. So we have buffer zone outside of that. So it says, in this buffer zone, run away. But in this buffer zone, wake up the kitty. So that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to create components that go around that, where instead of I don't even care where the mouse is overall, but if the mouse goes in one of these orange zones, the kitty wakes up. If it goes in one of the red zones, the kitty takes off a different direction, whatever the opposite direction of this is. So let's check out how we can make that happen. So let's start by just putting something together. So let's create an object, buffer. We'll call it a frame. And the frame is going to be part of the window, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to put the kitty inside of the frame. So instead of the kitty being part of the window, we're going to make the kitty part of the buffer. And you can see the kitty starts as the sleepy kitty, and then we'll change it to the worry cat as needed. So now we're going to put the buffer, let's say buffer.pack for now. Good enough. But the cat, let's put the cat in a grid. And so the grid, if you remember what we said before, it's kind of like a tic-tac-toe board. So the kitty is in the center of the tic-tac-toe board, tic-tac-toe board, excuse me. So its row is going to be 1, its column is going to be 1. And so to the left and right of the kitty is going to be buffers, and above the kitty is going to be buffers. So we'll put the kitty right in the middle. So let's create one of those buffers, right? So let's start with one buffer, and then we'll go from there. So let's say top buffer is equal to. We could do a frame, but I'm going to do something else just to show it to you called a canvas. So a canvas is basically just something to draw on. It's something that you can do some just basic animations or something like that on if you want to. And so the canvas allows us to basically have a blank screen element, but it acts as anything else. But let's say the canvas is going to be a background. And we'll make the background is equal to red so we can see it. Let's just see if that shows up. And then we'll do top buffer dot grid. We'll say row is equal to 0, column is equal to 1. And let's see what this does. Okay, so we have a buffer. It's a huge buffer on top of the kitty, but there's a buffer on top of the kitty. That's because the grid fills the entire space inside of here. So maybe there's some stuff we can do to tweak this a little bit. Let's see what we can do. So let's see. I think in the canvas, I can set the canvas height to be, well, let's just set a buffer size here. So let's just come up here and say buffer is equal to 50. Okay, so that's better. So we have this buffer on top, and so we can create this buffer all the way around. So let's do the same sort of thing here. We'll create the bottom buffer. So this is not going to be row 1. This is going to be row 2, 0, 1, 2, and that should be good. Yeah, so we have a buffer on either side, and now we're going to make a left buffer, and another left buffer. And we don't want the height to be that buffer. We want it to be the width to be that buffer. It's easy for me to say, right? Oh, oh yeah, I forgot to change the X value. Okay, that's kind of a little cool. Plus accidentally put inside of there. But so this one is row 1, column 0 for the left. And then I feel confident enough to put the right buffer in here because it was pointing the right way. And so now this is row 1, column 2. Yeah, so now I have a buffer all the way around this. I mean, it's a heck of a buffer around this. This kitty picture has ended up being pretty big, but the principle's there. We can play with it from here. It gives us a place to start. Um, so now we need to detect when the mouse is over that buffer, right? And so that is fairly straightforward, but we need a function to help us do that. So let's just say we're going to create a function warning. And then this is going to be an event handler. So I need to receive the event inside of this. I would say print event. Let's just see what that event looks like at this point. So let's just practice with the top buffer for now. So for the top buffer, I need to bind an event. And so bind is a function that allows us to take the name of some event. And so I need to give it here as, for example, a motion event. So it's saying the mouse is motioning in that. Well, I'm going to call the warning. So I got nothing, I got nothing, I got nothing, and then I have, oh, there it goes. It's over it. I'm moving it over this box. It moves around. Nothing, 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 nothing. Move over it, move over it, move over it. So you can see it tells me the XY location of that. But more importantly, it just is simply saying that, hey, that happened. So the warning here, what do I really want to have happen when the warning occurs? Well, I want to go to my cat, and I want to configure the cat where the image is going to be the worry cat. So when my mouse goes into one of the warning spots, oh, what did I do? Oh, configure. I spell it right. Con Figure. I spelled configure wrong. Let's try it again. So when my mouse goes over the cat, oh, our cat wakes up. It's a worry cat. Now, it stays there because I never change it back. It doesn't go back to default. It does whatever change we did at last. But we have a start here. We can actually add that to the rest of them, but I'm not going to do that right now. What I want to do is I'm going to give you a moment to make sure your cat is working the same way. So let me, bring this together. So can you build these buffers around it and then have it so the cat wakes up? And so if you got that going, then we have a good start to where we're going next. But we've got a long way to go. So make sure this is working before we head down that path to get there.